Changelings are stealing and then swallowing babies. Why does the Great Collection send the military to wipe them all out? Let's talk about the lore of my manga that are based on my D&D game. Well, the first MILF in the room that we have to address, well, in the Devil's Deal, we get to see one aspect of the military force in the Great Collection, and that is the Soul Hunters. Don't get me wrong, the Soul Hunters are quite competent at what they do. If they catch a changeling out in the open, if it's a woman, it's going to the milking farms. If it's a male, it's definitely about to find itself in a trash can. There's a huge difference between finding a changeling out in the open and going into their homeland, which is the Elden Forest, home of Elden Prime, and worst of all, Aneru, the lightning impregnator themselves. Yeah, the same one that impregnated Gil, the Sky Dancer dragon. The thing is, they already fought a holy war against the planar spirits, which are basically gods. They ended up committing war crimes that literally cost them trillions of dollars and almost bankrupted the entire government. If it wasn't for the Silver Knight, they would have probably lost that war of attrition. But real quick, let's look at the mating manual. You can get access to what I've done by joining the Ruby Gold or Diamond OCs if you want to get an original character in the series like Gil. Window right here is the capital of the Changeling. And you know how the Changelings won Window? It's because in the First Divine War, they were so good at espionage and assassination through Operation Hexagon, which is where the forest elf shaman named Kirkland was responsible for gathering up as many changelings as possible, putting them in a training camp, and then sending them into the field to conduct operations. And by the end of the Defiance War, there were over 200,000 changelings in military operations. And they had done such a good job that the base that they were trained in was converted into a city and gifted to them. If all that isn't bad enough, Window is literally within Elden Forest, which is a Fey Grove. The biggest Fey Grove, which is where you have some holy knights like Lady Mary operating, who is a druid shaman. And if you play D&D, basically a shaman is a nature spellcaster and a druid is basically just nothing but wild shapes. And what makes all of that worse is the reason the Great Collection cities are void of a lot of nature is because in the Defiance War, they would get dryads, druids, and shamans to literally tree step into military camp and vital areas and conduct sabotage. You like that nice tree in your backyard? Well, that's wonderful, because that's basically a portal a dryad can use to come and assassinate your family. And so at the end of the day, unless the Great Collection and the Chaos Planes as a whole wants to go through another divine war, which costs them billions of lives that basically end up in kind of a stalemate, all they can do is pick off changelings as they leave the Elden Forest and operate within the Chaos Plane. And yes, while watching a baby get swallowed and then slowly converted into an incubator is horrific, there is some legislation in place to prevent the suffering of children as much as possible. Like Triji, a member of the WeSee Council, which is a member of the government that stands for the weight of birth. Basically, they're responsible for working on policy that deals with how to get reproduction for hostile nations such as the Great Collection. Like, for example, they're responsible for Provision 31, which states voluntary offerings take priority over the gathering, which is basically where they go snatch children, if at all possible, to prevent harm from being done to innocent people. And this is what the Changeling advisor had to basically say about it. They are at war. What is 5 human children to the lives of 75 changelings that she herself can bring into this world? Because each of these cabans can produce multiple cabats, and she can hold multiple of them in her tail. So if you're a royal, she can give birth to 75 children at one time. And the global population of changelings stays around 5.2 to 5.5 million, which means they need to take 800 offerings, which these are considered offerings. And their rationale is the Great Collection has over 600,000 elective abortions per year, which means that they take 0.001% of the infants that the Great Collection voluntarily throws away. The Changelings do have a very strict policy on who can have kids, thanks to the provisions that they've put in place to ensure every child is loved and wanted that they're going to bring into this world. So should Changelings be hunted down? Well, let me know, and if you want to know more, check out the mating manual, because I'm currently up to 136 pages, and we have a lot more species to go. So check the bio to get access to the mating manual or get your own original character.